that course then came together in something more formal that became the Organization for Tropical Studies.
Yeah, that was the precursor. That was ongoing. We'd had 2 years of success with that. That was NSF funded. So basically the original members just built on that. Actually, the name of the course was Fundamentals of Tropical Biology, so we know where that came from. We made that up in 1961, the first time we gave it.
So tell us a little about how those universities gelled. Who were they?
Oh,
and who were the movers? And
yeah, I always called them the Magnificent Seven because there were 7 universities. I hope I can remember their names. University of Michigan, Harvard University, University of Southern California, University of Miami, University of Kansas. Have I hit 7 yet?
Was Wisconsin?
No.
No.
But,
well, University of Costa Rica.
University of Costa Rica, of course. And after we got organized, then a little later, we made the University of California a charter member, but they were not involved in the initial getting together. Now, the key people were 2 people from the University of Michigan, which had been involved in trying to establish things in Chiapas. And that was Norman Hartwig, and who was a herpetologist, and Steve Spur, who was the dean of the graduate school. They were very influential. Hartwig called the meeting that led to the formation of OTS. And Henry Lee from the University of Miami was a key person as well at that time. Spur is the one who came up with how we were going to make the organization. He used as a model a organization for it was a consortium of astronomy universities that had astronomy. And so basically we used their model to organize the operation. Spur certainly was one of the most important people in the early days, very enthusiastic and with lots of ideas.
I'm impressed with the importance of deans in the history of sort of higher university administration in both the organization and how we got through various crises along the way.
Yeah, well, that certainly helped. I think it's still in the Constitution that we have 2 reps from each university, but no more than 1 could be an administrator. That was Hartwig and Spur put that in.
So there was a meeting here in Costa Rica that you said that Spur and Hartwig...
No, we met, the organization meeting was at the University of Miami in Coral Gables. Okay. And as a result of that meeting, we incorporated OTS in the state of Florida. And so our official office was in Coral Gables at the university. And one of the key guys there was also, he was the dean of the graduate school. So that's where the meeting was held that established the organization. And then about 4 months later, we had the first meeting of the directors of the new organization, and that was also at U of Miami in Coral Gables.
And then parallel with this, the Association for Tropical Biology was forming out of a meeting in Trinidad.
Yes, well, going back in the history a little bit, after we'd been successful for those 2 years with our we called it an advanced seminar. I was able to get a grant to have a conference in San Jose to discuss the possibility of setting up a operation here that's centered on tropical biology. And we had quite a few distinguished scientists that came from a number of institutions other than what ultimately were the founding 7. So we drew up a series of recommendations. Well, earlier, there had been a meeting in Trinidad where they had drawn up not the same plan, but emphasizing strategies and priorities in tropical biology. So it was NSF supported our meeting, and so NSF said, well, why don't you two groups get together and sort of, why should we have two different things going on? So after OTS was, before OTS was formed, a meeting was held in Jamaica of Diabati and I went for OTS, and several people that ultimately were involved in ATB, and we met and discussed things. Well, it was clear that the people from Trinidad were interested in establishing a society, basically. We were interested in establishing an actual program of research and teaching. So, and actually Diabati and I both were were officers of ATB when when it was formed. So that's where that linkage is. They were formed in 50, and then we were formed, I mean, 50 years ago, nearly 50 years ago, and we were formed at the same time. So we're kind of twins.
Right, sort of joined at the hip.
Yes, yeah.
And even today, there's probably a lot of ATB members have come through OTS courses and have associations.
Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of fun when we have the 50th next year.
Yes.
And you get to see some of these folks.
Yeah. So take us forward a little bit in time. How? So the first courses were for faculty, and then at what point did you expand to graduate students?
Our first grad students were in '63.
Okay.
Our first 2 years were 61, 62. First graduate students were in '63. And we had, quite a few famous tropical biologists. Dan Jansen was one of them, Steve Hubble, George Gorman. So they were among the grad students that we had that first year. And then, of course, in each of these packages, we got funding to support some of the people to come back and do research the second year of their time. So the grad students were started in '63, and we supported Jansen in '64 to do his research, several others. And then as time progressed, since we had the momentum, it became mostly graduate students that were being trained, sometimes postdocs, but that's why we think we were successful. We got the faculty back home to encourage their students to come down here.